Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Avarice podcast. Today's episode is going to be a movie commentary on Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Woohoo! Hard for me to contain the joy in my voice as I announce this to you. I'm just overwhelmed with a sense of fulfillment as I embark upon this journey. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing with you. I'm gonna make myself a cup of coffee here, and then after that is finished, I'll sit down at the coffee table, aptly named, and take a few hits off of my bong. Then we will start the film. I'll give you a countdown before I start it to cue you up in case you're going to watch along with me. Otherwise, just sit back, enjoy the ride. It's going to be a few minutes before we actually get to the film, so if you're not into the preamble or waiting around or you don't have any shit to shuffle, if you're ready to go, if you're on the ball, go ahead and fast forward, like say 5 minutes, and you'll probably be right in the wheelhouse of the start of the movie. This is an interesting entry. It's pretty bad. As far as I remember, I haven't seen it in years, but I remember it being pretty bad. And it's a case of how an idea and a marketing plan can be great, but the execution and the limitation of resources can lead to a subpar product, and even the audience feeling that they were misled in a way. Because on the surface, when you look at it and you think Jason goes to Manhattan, Jason in New York, the possibilities are limitless. The mind reels at how you're going to have, it doesn't really, you're flooded with ideas of things that Jason could do in that environment because it's entirely new. We've always been in the woods by a lake, and you're going to have a level of resonance and authenticity to viewers, especially people who've been to New York, because they're going to be like, oh, I've seen that place, I've been there, and now they see Jason there causing destruction. You could really see how it's an appealing idea, how people would want to see that. But again, they never attempted to get too big for their britches with Friday the 13th, at least not up until this point. And they kept it low budget, so the risk was always very small. And even the ones that aren't considered successes were financial successes for Paramount and the movie makers. That's a very important thing to keep in mind with why they seem to toil in this area of success. They never tried to break through and become a big budget production because the risk is higher and they could fall flat on their face. They had a formula that they were having success with and making money with, and they just kept going to the well over and over again. I respect the director's vision of taking Jason out of Camp Crystal Lake and moving him into a more urban area, and you get a lot of fresh interactions and novel possibilities therein. But again, when you're dealing with such a low budget movie, a lot of that shit's just not possible. So they really had to reduce the scope of their work down to 25% of the movie taking place in Manhattan, and the rest of it is bullshit on a boat. So when you have people show up to see that and they're expecting total chaos and carnage within the confines of New York City, and it takes over an hour into the movie even to get to New York City, they feel like they were misled and like you sold them short. Ooh, coffee is hot today. Everybody knows that I like to drink coffee while I watch Radar. Oh, we're not watching Radar. That's a... Or wait, no, it's called Radio, huh? I'm thinking of the movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. where he's handicapped. Radio? Not radar. Radio. Okay. Radar? I thought he said we were watching Friday the 13th. Don't worry about it. Just relax. Do whatever you're doing. You're probably cleaning your house, you're at work, you're driving in your car, you've got yourself into some fucked up situation. Maybe you're relaxing on the beach. Whatever the case may be, just go with the flow. None of it matters. It only matters if it does, I should say. Everybody likes to bring up you could get struck by lightning, you could get in a car accident tomorrow. How about a fucking meteor could hit tomorrow? That's you could be driving down the freeway and all of a sudden the entire world could be on fire instantaneously. There could be waves of energy coming towards you, breaking the pavement in these ripples, and nothing you can do about it. That's the kind of shit that I think about occasionally. Maybe it's the weed talking. But, so, your rent is due at the beginning of the month, unless there is no beginning of the month. And there will come a day where there is no beginning of the month. There will come a day where there's no you. There will come a day where there's no landlord. And none of it will have really mattered. The earth will still be here. It'll still go on. We assume time will still go on. And all of the things that we think are important are really only based within the confines of our reality and our existence. Humans have rights, right? We all agree on that. Well, I don't say we all agree on that. Most of us agree on that, especially here in the United States. But that's really something we've invented. We have agreed that we have rights, but only as it pertains to our interactions with each other and our society. If you were to be shipwrecked on a deserted island, get in a plane crash and find yourself alone in the wilderness, you don't have any fucking rights. The trees aren't going to part and give you the right to a water source. The wolves aren't going to wait at bay because you have a right to be happy. Nature has no fucking rights. You have the right to die is basically it. How did I get on this tangent? Fucking weed's good today. Alrighty. I am streaming this on Amazon Prime, so if you are listening to me close to the recording date, it's probably still available, and assuming you have a subscription, you can jump on there and watch the shit along with me. Let's be honest, if you're listening this deep into the franchise, you probably don't need to watch along or don't care to. When I listen to other people's commentary tracks, I very rarely watch the movie along with it. I can't even explain why I like listening to commentary tracks. I really don't know what it is, but I do. When I'm doing shit around my house, I'll throw somebody else's commentary track on and listen to it. Anyway, I'm getting ready to press play, so get your remote in your hand, put your dick down for a second, and press play in 3, 2, 1, play. They've done away with the vintage mountain. Ooh, what is this? Surprising me with these noises right off the bat. Made me feel like a little energized in my armpits. You're excited. Feel these nipples. Now we're going to take it down. What is this, like Def Leppard? White Snake? Twin Towers. Still standing. Do you guys have any weird mental tics like that where you don't even realize you're doing it, and you can't help yourself, but you announce, like, every time I see the Twin Towers on TV in a movie or television show, I have to announce it. I don't fucking get why I do it. As soon as I'm done, I go, why did I need to say that? But I still do it. I don't know if I'm looking for some type of social credit for pointing it out. If it's some kind of a weird nostalgia because that was such a seminal moment of my childhood. I do the same thing with addresses, but I know why that is. Comes from delivering newspapers and having to locate addresses on people's houses day in and day out, year after year. It's like a trained skill at this point now. When I see the front of a building and the address is there, I notice the address. It's one of the first things I see. Super realistic mugging. So other than the scenes that are very obviously New York and a couple of those wide shots, most of this is shot in Vancouver. Jason Takes Vancouver. I wonder if they have any sunset shots where you can tell that it's on the West Coast instead of the East Coast. That would be pretty funny. Obviously, if they're supposed to be in Manhattan, the sun rises there and sets over here on the west. So the coastline in relationship to the sun. Most of these are shot at night anyway. It's dark. That's crazy. The actors and actresses almost have to take on like a graveyard routine when they're filming these horror movies, because almost none of the movie takes place in daylight. So it's all got to be shot when it's dark outside. So you're shooting all night, every night. And then are they just sleeping all day? It's a weird feeling to have to do that, especially if you're not used to it and it's new to you. It's an adjustment period. I've probably seen... Fuck, I don't even know if I have a way that I can explain this properly. I've seen so many sunrises, but not from waking up early, from being up all night. Like, I've watched the sunrise so many times. It's actually more impressive than the sunset, in my opinion. Okay, so even though you very rarely see anybody with boats or anything in Crystal Lake, it doesn't seem like it's that big. We've got this kind of houseboat thing floating around in Crystal Lake. So let's backtrack a little bit. In part 6, he gets resurrected via a lightning bolt, right? The lightning strikes a fence post that stabbed into him. He gets the jolt, and he's Frankenstein, super zombie Jason. That movie ends with him getting lassoed by the chain and held underwater by the gigantic boulder. Still alive, he's just stuck down there, right? He doesn't need to breathe anymore. He's a zombie. The next movie has the telepathic girl break his chain with her mind powers, and that's how he comes back. That's actually not a bad pair of panties by comparison to all the other ones in the franchise. We were starting to figure it out in the 80s, that underwear could be sexy. The late 80s. This seems very 80s, like it seems like it's got almost every element of the 80s in it, but it's really the late 80s working itself into the early 90s. It's not so cut and dry, like there's a border like we like to think of, the 70s style, the 80s style, the 90s style. It's a slow integration, and there's some overlap there.
Hey, what's wrong? Come on, Jimmy, something's bothering.
So anyway, so then the telepathic girl raises him from the dead, or raises him from the bottom of the lake. He wasn't dead. And at the end of that, her dad pulls him out. Like, how is her dad animated? Her dad should have been dead for a long fucking time.
What stories?
Anyway, the dad pulls Jason under the water, and for some reason he stays there. Like, he's not dead. He shouldn't be able, you can't drown him. He's buried under the rubble of the deck that collapsed. Like, it's not very. So now he needs to be re-energized with electricity yet again to make him rise from the bottom of the lake, even though he shouldn't have been dead to begin with. It's this huge power cable at the bottom of the lake. That's how they're gonna. Yeah, see, he's just laying under a pallet. He's got chains wrapped all around his legs and arms. What do we... Another part of the storyline here is that we're going to be following the graduating class of Camp Crystal Lake High. I didn't get the impression that Crystal Lake was a place that had a high school from any of the other movies. Maybe I'm dumb, but the idea that they have this huge graduating class that's going on this trip, like, okay. See, so their anchor drags across the power wire, and then somehow their boat doesn't get any shocks of electricity at all, but Jason's body gets re-energized and he's animated again. Even though he was a full-on, like, he lived at the bottom of the lake for more than 10 years, just waiting patiently. Oh, he's been hanging out in the GAC. He's been doing Double Dare 2000. No, don't put your clothes on. You're gonna get killed anyway. You might as well be naked. This is a bit toned down as far as violence and gore compared to the other ones, but they still went with the nudity, and I gotta love them for it. A lot of people refer to this as the Disney kind of made-for-TV Friday the 13th, but I think that's mostly because they really made an attempt to change everything up and go against type. What the fuck? Oh, shit. Fake Jason. So they tried to have they changed the location, and they tried to have almost every kill be different from type. They didn't want all these stabbings and impalings and beheadings. They wanted it to be a lot more creative as far as the kills went. Oh, this is why his mask is different. I was gonna bitch about the mask being different, but apparently his old one fell off in the water, and he just stole that guy's. Oh. So there's a lot of, like, electrocutions, all types of more novel kills. But at the end of the day, you don't have a large sum of gory slasher-esque kills. So changing it up and going away from type is a good idea, but I don't think you can do it on every aspect, because then you're really divergent from what the core fans are expecting. Excuse me. This is a throwback to the first scene where he got his mask in part 3. He gets his mask from Shelley and comes out and shoots the harpoon gun at the girl. Hits her in the eye. Ooh. This is pretty slasher-esque, but that scene got cut by the MPAA. You were supposed to see it stab into his stomach. He looked for the glass so he could put his bloody hands on the glass. Is this a different boat than we're on later? We do have Kane Hodder back as Jason in this as well. I think it's the first movie where or the first back-to-back films to have the same person playing Jason. And I love his portrayal of Jason. He's a great Jason. My only contention is that once you added in Kane Hodder, the portrayal became more human-like, and that was the film where he was supposed to be less human. So he's supposed to be full-on Frankenstein zombie now, yet he seems to be more intelligent than he's ever been. That's a good idea. Hide in the fucking crawl space of the boat. You're trapped on the boat with him. You don't think he's going to find you? He's just going to give up looking and drop a line and have a beer? He's going to throw on some Leonard Skinner and say, fuck it. Sweet home Alabama. Saw a little nipple through your shirt. Oh, Jason also grew ears in this movie. I don't think he had ears in the last movie. That's a big-ass boat. Is that supposed to be a cruise ship? Because it doesn't look like it. Looks like some kind of a shipping vessel or... She's pretty cute. She's not blonde. Oh my god, they really did change shit up. This is the first leading girl that's not blonde.
Stephen King supposedly used it in high school.
Did she say supposedly?
Winnie, you are the best student I have ever had. You have a real gift.
You're having this conversation with a teacher?
Anybody that can make use of that pen, it's you.
This is creepy. Do you get this invested in all of your students? Do you have a shrine to her at home? With candles and severed head? No, that's Jason. Never mind. Oh, God. So Jason just pulls up in that houseboat
Oh, Charles?
and apparently gets on their boat.
It was your idea, so at the very least you could show up on time.
Has everyone checked in?
Where are they supposed to be right now?
Jim Miller and Susie
Are they already at the ocean, or is this the lake? How big is this fucking lake?
They probably decided to explore each other rather than...
I never got the impression the lake was this big from the other movies.
We're running 5 minutes.
Maybe I'm the asshole.
There's someone else coming too.
Sick leather backpack. Can I have that? There's also a Suzuki sidekick over there, just waiting to tip over. Looks like a Geo Metro. Sexual.
Never should have brought her here.
It's up to Rennie to decide what she wants to do.
She doesn't know what she wants. She never had a stable life till she came to live with me.
She certainly doesn't have...
This looks very similar to Oregon, actually. Except for we don't really have
Anybody else?
that many lakes like this. Like Crater Lake.
End of discussion.
But the trees and the hills looks a lot like where I live.
Have you decided on your departure protocol, Admiral?
Oh, Jason's the captain now. Nice bowl cut, you fuck. I guess that's not a bowl cut. That's more of like a Beatles. The other guy looks like the villain from the Karate Kid 3. That's Pandora's box. Only open it if you want the world to end. Oh, world's over.
Something old and something new.
You didn't even ask me if you were allowed to open that, and you just did.
They got those goddamn computers that do all the work for you. Have you decided on a plan of departure?
Those goddamn computers that do all the work for you. Did you see that thing? I think that's supposed to be some kind of a GPS unit. Did we have those then?
How about we start up the engines and come around 180 degrees?
Forgetting something, mister?
How about we go to the gym and then bleach our assholes? You're sitting here staring at me like that, making me fucking nervous, Dad. I'm gonna piss all over my shoes. How come I don't get a fancy outfit like you? I'd feel much more confident doing this job if I had a fancy outfit like you. You know that nobody else here knows what any of that shit on your chest means, right? To us, a captain's a captain. Super latex Jason. Tiff, I'm made out of rubber. This new fake naval Ralph. That was some black water. Battle of Blackwater Bay. There's so many more students at the beginning of the movie than by the end. They're almost all gone, but we see like 5 of them die. Doesn't. Jason was putting in a lot of work off camera. The fuck were you doing? Curling? I want to do that. You can shoot guns off the boat? I want to go to there. I'm trying to read the sign behind them, but it's fucking obscured by their bodies. They make better doors than windows, that's for sure. It would have been hilarious if he told that couple they were gay. Just, you guys are so gay. Because they're not. It was a man and a woman, but they wouldn't know how to take it. They would feel like they're supposed to be insulted, but it also doesn't make sense. So it's like, no harm, no foul here. Let's pull off that piece of... I don't know where I was going with that. I think I was going to say pull off that piece of scab, but what? I'm pretty dumb sometimes. All girls love Statue of Liberty necklaces. It's more valuable than a diamond. So I believe they're supposed to be in a lake, and they somehow get to the ocean. If you're familiar with how bodies of water work, there shouldn't be a connection between the lake and the ocean, especially not big enough for that boat to go down.
What are you doing here? We've already been through all of this.
I'm sorry.
I think they're actually off the western coast of Canada.
I'm not upset. I'm just concerned.
Way to be vague. Goddamn, Motley Crue, female version. This Pat Benatar chick hitting some fake licks on this Flying V guitar. Sure is. It's offensive how bad you are at pretending to play guitar. She's not moving. She was only strumming, and then she was leaving her other hand in one. I don't even know what to call it. Not the strum hand, the other hand. I don't play guitar, but I know that you're supposed to move your left hand and pick different notes. That's how it makes different sounds. She had her hand in one spot the entire time.
Oh, man. Don't tell me you're still trying to scam Montana.
Do you always dress like a wannabe biker chick, even though we're on a boat?
A dweeb, Wayne.
Supposed to wear boat clothes.
On what you can do for her. She is a user.
I'm not going to really bother to pay much attention to the character names or their interactions or relationships because I don't fucking care. So I don't... Whatever she was talking to him about there is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. There's no plot here. I mean, these are the same people who thought we wouldn't notice that the boat goes from a lake to the ocean.
It's a big storm tonight.
Plus, Crystal Lake's supposed to be in New Jersey.
It's not too
Isn't that west of New York? So they went all the way around to the other side of New York and approached it from the east? I don't. It was the director's idea to set it in a city. And then because of that, it was Frank Mancuso Jr.'s idea to put it in New York because he's from New York. And he was like, if it's not going to be any big city, it's got to be New York. But New York probably presents the most issues as far as pulling it off successfully. It's just, where are you going to film? How are you going to carve out the space and time? New York never quits moving. All of these iconic locations and shit are always going to be filled with people. This is also Frank Mancuso's last film that he produced in this series. He seemed to feel an odd pressure and sense of responsibility regarding the moral content and its effect on society in this franchise. He references several times in interviews feeling a sense of responsibility for how these films are received and any action that they might inspire negatively. So basically what he said is he was worried that someday somebody was going to get killed in a Jason movie, or somebody wearing the Jason costume was going to kill somebody and try to become a copycat. There was a lot of controversy and drama around the franchise. The constant, it's too violent, it's too gory, it's exploitative. And he basically just threw his arms up and said he'd had enough and he didn't want to be involved in it anymore. Basically, he was washing his conscience of it. And I mean that in the most respectful way. It's his decision to be able to do that. I just don't know if he was correct in feeling that sense of response. It's almost like he was pressured by some bullshit by society to give up a gig. Has anybody ever been sued over the content of a Friday the 13th movie? I have a little bit stronger feelings about that than maybe people of a different generation. God damn those pants. They didn't attempt to make her look sexy at all. She's cute, but fucking A. Those are mom jeans if I've ever seen them. Like her hair, though. But I grew up in the 90s, and we had I don't want to say we had the school shooting spree. Like, that stuff started really happening, though, around that time. There was multiple of them, and Columbine being the big one that everybody kind of remembers and gathered around with their torches. And when that happened, I was in the 5th grade, I want to say, and video games and music and violence on television started getting blamed for everything. So I started having to, I would be sitting there like, I don't know how old you are in 5th grade. What are you, like 8, 9, 10 at the most? And on the news, they're talking about how if these kids didn't play violent video games, they wouldn't have shot up their school, and how, like, and I was a kid who always played that kind of stuff. Played, the Mortal Kombat back when it was the shittiest graphics, and we would look at it so comically now. But back when the original Mortal Kombat came out, you had to be a certain age to buy it because of the gore. Scary movies, music, 007, all that kind of shit. Later it became Grand Theft Auto and Eminem. I was always somebody who was enjoying that content. And never a person who, I've never had any trouble with the law. I don't get in fist fights. Nothing. So it was insulting to me to insinuate that people were that easy to control, and that somehow by exposing me to this, it was going to make me turn into a sociopath or some type of psychotic killer. Like, it just didn't compute to me. It didn't make any fucking sense. It was one of the dumbest arguments I'd ever heard, but you had to hear it over and over and over and over again. So when I hear something like Frank Mancuso Jr. back in, what was this, like 88, 89, decides to step away from the Friday the 13th franchise because he feels a moral responsibility for some type of impending incident that's going to happen based off the content. It's just like, I feel at that point he's probably pretty ballin', pretty rich, and he's got there's a lot at stake. So that probably is a factor in his decision. But I would have respected it more if he just stood by his laurels and stood by what he believes, that this isn't. It sounds like deep down he believed what they were saying to him. Sounds like he felt a certain way about it, and they scratched that itch by bringing it up and kind of magnified it in his mind to the point where he actually gave into it and decided he couldn't do it anymore. It took 8 films for him to make that decision, but that's neither here nor there. So from Jason Goes to Hell going forward, there's no more Frank Mancuso Jr. And I don't know that he's really had his fingerprints on it in a meaningful way since maybe number 4. He was always a part of it, but he was much more hands-off starting with number 5, I believe. What did that dartboard say? It didn't say anything. It read. Oh, what did it read? Are you guys sniffing Ajax with Tommy Chong back here? Oof, oof. Oof. Oh, it's the Scorpion Queen. Or the, God damn it. She's in the Scorpion King, but what is she's like the magic lady? There's a name for her. God damn it. I just watched that the other day. She's fine as fuck in that movie. She's fine as fuck in this movie too. It actually makes me realize that she was much older in Scorpion King than she appeared. This is like 15 years before Scorpion King. She still looked hot as hell in Scorpion King. Came out of the water all... kind of thing makes you want to bite your fist.
No, what? Relax. Call it covered. That narky bitch needs to visit a different matter. Rumor has it she's a teensy bit afraid of the water.
High drama. First you take wooden spoon, you drip water over rocks. Then you lay down and you suffer and relax at the same time. Believe me, you gotta try it. You're watching Funky Side Program with Bruno, your man, fuck man. So, I am seeing, we're fairly early into the movie, but I'm already seeing how the plot isn't really engaging. I don't really have any fucking idea what's supposed to be going on other than they're on a boat going to New York. And we are jumping from kill to kill to kill to kill without it really contributing a lot to the story. Or there being a lot of build-up or tension. It's just like he's walking down a long hallway and every single room has somebody to kill in it, and he's just opening the door, doing it, opening the door, doing it. I'm not seeing people's point when they call this the Disney Friday the 13th. So far it's been other than the huge holes in the story and the fact that we're on a boat instead of in the woods, it's very much a Jason movie to me. Oh, is this where we get that she had a... Oh, okay. Right. When she was a youngin', her uncle was attempting to teach her to swim, and he just shoved her out of the boat, because that was the old school way. Figure it out, sink or swim style. And so now we're going to see her remember... She had a vision of Jason under the water, or is that supposed to be something that really happened to her? Because now we're getting into more shit that doesn't make sense. Did Jason drown or did Jason not drown? And at what point did he come out of the water? Did he grow to be a full-grown man under the water and then miraculously decide, just spontaneously got a wild hair up his ass? He's like, I'm going to see if I can walk on land. And he's like, damn, this feels natural. It's like I was supposed to be up here the whole time. What is that crossed suspenders in the front look? Is that an 80s thing? I don't think I've ever seen that. I know there's no answer. I know that it's not going to make sense. Nobody's going to be able to give me the golden ticket as far as how and when Jason came to be. But so he drowned. He's in the water to have this interaction with her. But then later he's... Yeah, I don't know. He just hung out in the water for a while. He drowned, but he didn't die. And then he just hung out underwater. And then after he hit puberty, he got really horny, and there was no other people under the water, so he had to exit the water and go find people. But he got shut down by everybody, men and women alike. And that is why he now kills everybody who has sex, because he's very jealous. And that is the lore of Jason. I figured it out. Hope you guys enjoyed this mind-blowing revelation. So puberty was the catalyst. Ooh. That's a fucked up image. That would creep the shit out of you. I've actually thought about that before. Like brushing my teeth. What the fuck? He got her right by the throat. That shit would hurt. What are we even doing here? At this point in the franchise, with no breaks between the movies, like no meaningful breaks, they are coming out year after year after year after year. It's kind of hard not to make a tired-ass Friday the 13th movie. Like, how are you going to break new ground, especially with the budget limitations? They're trying, but it's still not really pulling it off. And part of that is because of the scene. We are... Oh, I don't mean this scene. She's got her body all labeled up. But so they sold it as Jason Takes Manhattan, and we spend so much time on this boat, and when you're on the interior, it's basically just like a cabin or something. It's not... It's an okay-ass... Women... I shouldn't say women. White girls hadn't discovered squats yet, or working out. They were on some, like, bullshit let's get physical stuff. They hadn't done Buns of Steel. A lot of flat butt white girls. She's in good shape. She's sexy, but that ass should have a little more roundness to it. A little more three-dimensional. Should pop out towards my face. Have that nice crease underneath.
Get off of me.
If you're going to try to seduce me, can you not have your body painted with weird symbols and words and anatomy. Like, it's like fucking a girl with the worst tattoos ever. It's distracting. I'm gonna go a soft one real quick.
What is going on here?
Got anything good?
Yeah, very kinky. Give me that tape. Give it to me.
She was blackmailing him, but he's white. No, I'm kidding.
And as for you, you can.
Oh, there's a play on words. I love your shirt, dude. Did you make it?
Relax, Wayne. Not gonna risk trying a thing.
I'm always right, Wayne. Look at that camcorder. You can record better video on your phone nowadays than he could record on that fucking thing. He had limited space and power. It was heavy. The quality was at best standard definition, but it was probably much grainier than that. Probably pretty shitty. And he's recording straight onto a VHS tape.
Better really impress the time. So, must be sure to get to you later. You know?
And the editing process. Oh my Jesus. Hobbies were really passion projects back then. If you wanted to get into filming shit and making videos and movies, it was going to take up all of your time. If you wanted to record music, you had to rent studio space, and like, you couldn't just be like, oh, I'm going to hop in my closet real quick and, oh, she's naked. I can get down with that. Just gonna hop inside my closet real quick with the egg cartons hanging up on the wall and bust this verse for SoundCloud. That shit didn't exist. We only saw it through the veil of the shower curtain. Did I put a weird inflection on curtain? The shower curtain. Curtain? Those are the weirdest looking deadbolts I've ever seen. Does the whole thing turn? Like a rotary phone? That was like when you look at someone and you realize they're about to look at you, so you look away. That was like, you don't normally see Jason in those kind of candid moments. At least the victims don't. Oh, now she's naked. Briefly. He doesn't like looking at himself. That's a revelation. What is he even doing? Oh, shards of glass. But Two-Face. But Two-Face. But Two-Face. Hold up. Why does that mask... Is that supposed to be Jason's original mask? Because it has more markings on it than the original one did. It has red next to the nose. I thought that it was just coincidence that the kid on that boat had a mask like it, and he stole it from the kid. But it has the mark for the axe wound. The axe wound happened at the end of number 3, so that would indicate that it's the same mask. Oh, brother. How hard is it to watch the old movie and see what the mask looked like and make it the exact same? Why do you have to add extra marks to it? What the fuck you, like, why?
Take some advice. Don't push him too hard.
If it's supposed to be the same mask, like Michael's mask changes over the years and gets fucked up, but the implication is usually that he's getting a new mask most of the time. It's usually not, at least overtly said, that it's the same mask. With this, if you're going to have the axe wound in the forehead, that means that is this is the original mask. He got the mask in 3. He got the axe wound in 3. So you're saying that he's had the whole mask the whole time, or the same mask this entire time. That you got to get the markings right. You can't vary. It's a continuity issue. And if it is a different mask, why does it have the axe mark? Weird kind of off-camera kill. I don't like the lighting. It's not horrible, it just seems cheap. That was quick and precise. I think he feels relaxed and comfortable. I actually think that was pretty cool, the way it's slow motion, his skin split. Through it all, this kid's hair is barely fucked up. Still clean shaven, too. Oh, how cute. He's got a little hammock for all of his toiletries. Dad, did you overdose on oxys again? I took away his wallet so he couldn't go get cash out to get his fix. Apparently he found a way anyway. Must have pawned some, I don't even know, some records from his collection. Took his wedding ring down to the pawn shop so that he could cop some heroin. Now he nodded out in the, is it a cockpit? What is a crow's net? No. What is the fucking wheelhouse? He's conked out in the wheelhouse. I'm so don't mess around. I love that vintage sweater. That purple one. Ooh-wee. If I found that at a thrift store, I'd nab that up in a second. I wouldn't wear it, though. I'd sell it. Same with that fucking tracksuit that homie's got on. Is that Adidas? Show me my guy in the tracksuit again. Yeah. Look at that. Is Adidas. Woo! That's that classic B-boy look. That would be going on eBay for a premium right now. If I could get a picture of him wearing it to put up there with it.
You're all gonna die.
Get the fuck out of here, Ralph Jr. I hate these characters. I've never liked the crazy man prophet or woman who warns of impending doom and doesn't seem to really have any basis for this. Like, how does he have inside knowledge of what's going to happen? And if so, why is he doing nothing about it? He knew everybody on the boat was going to get killed and he just decided to go along for the ride anyway? What the fuck? You know that you could all sit in this room together with weapons, and you'd probably have a much better chance of survival than any other thing you're about to do?
I say we regroup and let's go find this motherfucker before he finds us, huh?
That's not a bad idea either.
Watch your mouth, young man.
It's 6-on-1. You're gonna have the best chance. So you could wait it out, and he could pick you off one by one, or you could go at him head up 6-on-1, and he might take you all out. But it was as close of a chance as you were ever going to have. 1-on-1, you don't leave. You all stay together, goddammit. Strength in numbers. Divided we fall. She's on the cocksucking aft deck. Jason's wondering where the sturgeon fishing equipment is. It'd be hilarious if Jason was down in this room like a giant toddler, just spinning wheels and moving shit around, wrapping ropes around stuff. Oh, It would be like a giant Jason version of those things that little kids have to put the shapes through the hole. You know, the square and the square hole, and the triangle and triangle hole. Or like the thing at the playground where it's a fake pirate ship wheel. He's just sitting down there having a gay old time, moving stuff around and switching this to here. That axe is ripe to be used. Jason's finna split some wood. I don't mean to imply he's gonna hit himself in the dick with the axe. How do you know what stuff does on the boat? You just moving stuff around?
I'm the one you should be listening to. Do you think dropping an anchor in the middle of a storm makes any sense whatsoever?
I think you should shut the fuck up and get out of my life. Oh, cutie pie.
Did you hear the announcement?
You guys' pants all suck. Sorry to say, but what is this, like, baggy, poofy? It looks like it's puffed out the way a plastic bag would around the hips. Not a plastic bag's hips. Where are all the other students? There were so many students when they left port. That's a pretty nice boat on the inside, actually. What the fuck? This is what this room looked like? I did not get a good set of the scene. A good idea of what... I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Intimidating motherfucker. I love Kane Hodder's portrayal. I just wish that he wasn't supposed to be a zombie. Kane Hodder from the beginning. Oh, wet dream. I hear that they've entertained the idea of casting Kane Hodder to play Michael Myers. And I'm not opposed to that. How old is he getting now, though? Well, I get the Michael Myers character is supposed to be old. Isn't he 60 fucking years old? Let's see, he was... What was he? 6 years old in 1963? So he's born in 57. So he's 62 years old now. I probably did that math wrong. You can correct me if you want to, if it means that much. Watch this. He's about to really toss her on the floor like a sack of potatoes. I think this is all legit. I think he just drops her on the floor and that's actually her. God damn, that looked like it hurt. I don't want that big motherfucker just tossing me like that. Talk about doing your own stunts. Funny enough, in my closet right now for sale on eBay, I have a pair of track pants just like the pair he's wearing. But without the jacket to match, it really ties the whole thing together. The way that guy had the hammer over his shoulder. That was the least masculine way I've ever seen anybody carry a hammer. Oh my god. He looked like he was like West Side Story meets Bob the Builder. The unlikely hero. This is a glimpse into the future. Filming yourself doing everything. It only got easier from here, bruh. You just lived in the wrong generation. How about a blowjob? Oh, and he loses his glasses. For people with glasses, that's a legitimate fear. Like, if my wife was watching this, she'd be like, oh my god, if I was in this situation and I lost my glasses, I could only see outlines. He just shot somebody he wasn't supposed to shoot because he can't see. I could tell that wasn't Jason. Now he's going to have to watch the footage back to see what he saw. Did he kill the Ralph guy? Because I'm fine with that. That'd be dope. Oh, who is he? Who the fuck was that guy? I don't have any idea who he was. I know who that is. I'm gonna fuck your camera. Jason said, you better get that camera out of my face or I'm gonna break it and then come back here and ask you what it's like to have a camera broken over your face. I didn't say that right. You get the gist of it. Oh, the Flying V guitar is planted firmly on the ground. What a crime. He made a hole in her head with the end of the guitar. He gets electrocuted, right? Yep. His pants were on fire before he even hit the board. His pants caught on fire with the quickness. He must have been drinking that red line, and then when he pissed his pants, it just combusted. He's sipping that lean gasoline. I'll do something. I'll throw your bitch ass off the boat, and then I'll be able to concentrate, and maybe I'll get the rest of us out of here, but you're not coming with us. I've had enough of you, bub. Your wannabe Mr. Belding principal ass. They probably didn't know who Mr. Belding was then. Caution, fuel, danger. Much explode, so terror. Oh, I probably need my jacket. There's a skeeter on my Peter, whack it off. There's a skeeter on my Peter, whack it off. Oh. God. God's the only one who needs to see it. I say God's the one who needs to see it, and he comes back with, how do you know there really is one? Got me, bro. I'm sure I don't know. I'm going to take a piss real quick so y'all listen to the movie, or fire drill, whatever it is. Sorry about that. I'm back. Suppose I could have took the mic with me if y'all are into water sports. Oh, your vintage sweater's gonna get blood on it now, buddy. Bloody buddy. Bloody buddy. Bloody buddy. Bloody buddy. Shit. Wait, he doesn't die here. They have the boxing mat. Oh, he throws him overboard. That's why. Goddamn, we're a substantial portion into this movie, and there's no New York at all. This is like Titanic 2, Jack's Revenge. I would actually be more interested in it if it was some kind of satire sequel to Titanic where Jack comes back from the dead and murders everybody on a cruise ship. I'd probably watch it if he did it right, if it was well enough made. Especially if you got Leonardo DiCaprio to play. You'd never would, but I can dream. It's still real to me, damn it. Titanic sequel. The boat comes back from the dead. Oh, Titanic has risen. Oh my god. It's just a zombie Titanic. Half of a boat moving through the sea. White Walkers on it. The noise she made. She's trying to take a meaty shit. Jason's just trying to find the set for McHale's Navy, if y'all could point him in the right direction. Hot Sharts Part 2. God damn it. Oh, man. I really meant to say Hot Shots, but Hot Sharts is pretty fucking good. Oh. When the film finally starts and you feel you got hot shards, diarrhea, diarrhea. When Ralph's got a knife and you got left by your wife, diarrhea, diarrhea. That didn't make any fucking sense. When you eat Taco Bell, everybody knows how that ends. No shit? So now they all have to swim for New York? How much more is left in this goddamn movie? Does this have a longer runtime than the other ones? Because by my calculations, and I am like Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, fully manifested as an adult, I'm fucking killing it over here. By my calculations, we should be like 25 minutes left in the movie, and just based off what I'm seeing here on the screen and the fact we haven't made it to New York yet, it feels like there's probably more remaining than that.
Never should have set foot on this ship. It's all your fault.
This is Jason's fault.
Not another word about Jason, you hear me?
What's funny is this guy's kind of standing out as not the greatest actor right now, and he replaced somebody who was an even worse actor. I've seen the outtakes, the scenes that they shot with the original guy, and he was so fake. We have to get out of here urgently. It is a dire situation. You can hear the urgency in my voice. Like, it was fucking bad. Shoot him in the dick. At least there won't be more Jasons. I'm glad that guy got killed. All his warning about doom, yet he didn't do anything to get himself to safety. You fuck. Congratulations, you were right. What good did it do anybody? The world is gonna end on... Okay, and what if you're right? You think you're gonna get a trophy in the afterlife? Like, what good does it serve your ego to guess the correct date that the world ends? does it not end for you too? Like, I got it right. Standing on a pile of rubble. It was me. I was the one. I knew. I got it right. I'm all by myself now, but fuck it. I got it right. Yeah. Build a statue of myself on every street corner. If you think you can predict the future, get on some Marty McFly shit. Or no, it wasn't even Marty, it was Biff. That's right. Get on some Biff shit and start betting sports. You know the outcomes. Set yourself up pretty, go buy an island, create a utopian society where everything's based off sharing. I don't know what you want to do. That would be a weird kind of like contradiction, right? To use capitalism as a means to construct your utopian socialist society. Might be a book idea there. Actually, that used to be kind of my weird fantasy. I wanted to write a book about somebody who moved to their own island and started this kind of utopian society. And then I wanted to use the proceeds from said book to move to my own island and start my utopian society. It was so ignorant. I was like 20. Like, a lot of my life now is based around earning a living and money, and you kind of get caught in the trappings of that, and you know, the rat race, trying to earn the cheese every day so you can sustain. And I've embraced that now, and it's kind of a part of my character and who I am. But at that point in my life, I was resisting it tooth and nail. Part of the problem is that I was always working for other people, and I just didn't dig that vibe, being stuck in a certain place for a certain amount of time because somebody says, even if there's not enough to do, extra effort doesn't really get rewarded proportionately or in real time. Once I started doing my own thing, I think is when I really found my stride. But back then, I kind of was operating under this idea or this assumption that money in a way was the equivalent of like shackles and chains. Like, you can kind of turn people into slaves, and I don't mean to use that word lightly, but by giving them money, like, as soon as the money's involved and there's value attached to things and people are trying to seek the money, they just kind of fall into line and start living a certain way as a result. And so my concept was that I was going to have this society where everything was based off trade, and you all kind of so like, if you wanted to build speakers, that's fine. You build speakers. Like, of course, I don't know how there'd be electricity, but let's just use that example. Let's say you want to blow glass, and so then you would blow glass and you would supply glass to everybody, and in turn they would give you whatever their little niche is. But then I was like, who grows the food? How do you compensate the people for growing the food? Like, and I started running into the idea that money is kind of the blanket way that you can create comparative value for things that aren't related, if that makes sense. Like, that's meta. He just saw a poster of his own face, but it's not even him. That's supposed to be a legit hockey. I don't know. I'm sorry I got on my stupid utopian story rant, but that was my idea. I was going to write a book about somebody who created this society, and then I was going to use the money to create my society. It's fucking so naive. Oh, that's funny.
Everyone shut up and give them the money. Now!
Young, dumb, and broke. That's what just popped into my head thinking about me back then. Young, dumb, and broke. And I regret not getting on my hustle at a younger age. I look back and see how I wasted a lot of time, and I could have set myself up better, and I could have been living a more flexible lifestyle, but still making my income. And I guess I became aware of it at the right time. It's that the teacher will appear when the student is ready sort of thing. This movie is wearing thin on me. We're gonna get to the New York part soon, right? Like, I believe that they're supposed to be on the shores of Manhattan right now, but god damn, yeah, we still have 34 minutes of runtime. This is the only one that I can recall that goes over 90. Why? Why? Why does the dude in the back look like he's in shock? Like, he looked completely out of it. Oh, his gal dropped her Statue of Liberty necklace. He's got to find her and return it before fighting Daniel-san in the Karate Kid tournament. Shut the fuck up. These dudes about to rape her? I'm not really into watching that. It's totally an air bubble in that syringe.
Snap, baby. Feel way better if you're stoned.
Is that supposed to be heroin? She looked like she had a red mark on her elbow already. Or what is the inside of your elbow called? Like where you bent, like... What is that called? Or the back of your knee? Like the pit? What the fuck is the name for that? You know, where everybody gets shots in their veins right there. The veins pop up. Oh, this is Jason's hero moment. This is his redemption scene where he prevents her from being raped. Forgot all about this. Rip his spine out of his back. Do some Liu Kang shit. He stabbed the syringe all the way through his body. I don't know if that would work. Hey, dirty, baby, I got your money, don't you worry. I said, hey, baby, I got your money. Sorry, he walked around the corner and said, where's my money? Old dirty bastard Jason's about to show him where it is. You want your money? Bend over, I'll show you. Yeah, I'd keep walking closer. You unloaded your entire magazine on him. Or not. Is it called a magazine when it's a revolver? It's not a clip. Whatever. You shot every bullet in your gun at him, and he didn't budge, so you thought you'd walk closer? Didn't shoot him in the head a single time, though. Take me back. Do-do-do-do. Take me back. Apollo Creed's younger brother is training for the Olympics. He's got a good shot at the gold. He looks like he's a 170. Decent reach. We're about to get down to the boxing match. It's one of the better scenes, I think, in the whole franchise, as far as a character having balls and standing up for themselves. but it was also ill-conceived. I don't know, offhand, I don't recall how much of Jason's superhuman ability this specific character has observed, but to think that you're just going to go at him with your fists and make any headway is kind of dumb. No weapon or anything. Oh, in the mask? God damn it, that would hurt. That your hand, I mean. It probably wouldn't feel good for his face, but that would fucking hurt your hand. This guy's not a boxer. Then again, Jason's presenting no offense, but his technique's way off. He's going off balance when he swings, leaving himself wide open. Okay. At some point, you got to realize this isn't getting the job done. And try something different before you run out of gas. Try a fucking leg sweep or something. He's really punching Kane Hodder. Those body shots are legit. No, they're not coming from a skilled boxer, but they would not feel good. You can see how much effort he's putting into those shots, though. But it's not crisp and clean the way, like, he's not putting his combinations together. Kicking game, severely lacking, too. You're right by the edge, dude. Circle around and knock him off the fucking edge. Where's your footwork? Really? Take your best shot, motherfuckers, what you got? There could have been a better cap off to that scene. The head flying off like that was just so fake and goofy. I'm still a bit in shock that they took a scene that was playing out that well and had him knock the head clean off the shoulders at a perfectly flat angle.
Ready? What did they do to you?
He's here, Sean. Jason is here.
Well, it's a big city. Let's go mingle. He can't kill everybody. There's a lot of hard dudes in New York. Let's just go find some and surround ourselves. Howdy doody looking motherfucker. Oh, we're all united. Reunited and it feels so good. For some reason, looking at that lady just made me want to say Lars Ulrich. I don't know why, but I saw her face and Lars Ulrich popped into my head.
Just shut up about Jason, will you?
Is it true?
All these people are aware of Jason and the story, yet year after year, people go back to Crystal Lake.
First order of business is to find Judas. I'm sure you'll pop up there. I'll call you back.
We had a hallway at my school when I was in high school that people called the rape hallway. And they claimed that an indiscriminate amount of years prior, some girl had been raped down in that hallway. And so it was considered to have a kind of eerie vibe, and people avoided going down there. And it was at a weird section. It was like in a back corner where you didn't really have any reason to go back there unless you were in one of those specific classes. But to my knowledge, nothing of the sort ever happened back there. Nothing. No violent crime, no sexual assault. I don't even think anybody got caught shooting dice back there. It's just some fucking rumor that started and grew and grew and grew and then became this fucking myth to the point that people would feel a certain way when they walk down that hallway for no reason. What is going on right now? Why are we going frame by frame? That... What? We still haven't gotten into anything that, like, you think of when you think of New York. The subway, Times Square, Madison Square Garden, taxi cabs, pizza places, bike messengers, muggers. We haven't gotten into any of it. Fucking Central Park. Their original marketing poster for this was the I Love New York logo, and Jason was slashing through it from behind with a bloody knife. And that was fucking brilliant. Just the imagery. But that image implies something that you just do not get. What the fuck? Now she sees a tiny boat rowing. Oh, she's going to have her flashback to when she was a kid. Oh, brother. It would have made a lot more sense for us to see this scene before she fell off the boat earlier so that we had context for her hallucination. Because this is meant for us to go, oh, that's why she saw the boy. She's seen all these, but it's not a deep enough story for us to care. It's not an aha moment. It's like, can we just get through this already? This is actually the most terrifying scene of the movie for me, just because I can put myself in this little kid's shoes, not really knowing how to navigate this conversation with the seemingly much wiser adult. At that age, you think that everything an adult says is gospel, especially if you're close to them. You don't know any better. So... the anxiety and the terror of feeling like he's going to toss you in this water and knowing that there's really nothing you can do about it. And getting the sense that he legitimately doesn't want to help you.
If you can, and you will. Come on, Benny, swim.
I think it goes without mentioning, but just in case, this is not an appropriate way to teach your kids how to swim. You first have to teach them how to hold their breath underwater, and you do that biodome style by just dunking their head under and holding it under for a set period of time, and then you bring them up. Good, bud. Now let's try for 3 minutes. Right? I'm teaching Bud how to hold his breath underwater. Those were the days. Copy that, squirrely control. You just remembered? That's something you would never forget. You guys are just now addressing this? I mean in their relationship. I'm not talking about in the movie. There's been a couple of times in my life where I was afraid I was going to drown, and I remember both of them. They have never left my memory. And one of them, I was probably 6 years old. I don't even remember much else about the day. I just remember that feeling of being trapped under the water and not knowing if I could get out. We were at a public swimming pool, and they had a big slide that goes around, you know, like a pigtail. And there was supposed to be a lifeguard at the top staging the kids in the queue so that one would go, he counts to 5 Mississippi or whatever the case is, and he lets the next one go to give each kid a chance to get down the slide and out of the way before the next kid is... Something in that system or that procedure got fucked up when it came to be my turn. I remember him making me wait, but I don't think he made the person behind me wait. I don't know if maybe they didn't speak English or if they just ignored him. But I came out of that slide and went into the water, and immediately afterwards, somebody came out behind me and smashed into the back of my head and landed on top of me. So their body was like I was suspending their body above me. So I couldn't move around, and I was like 6 years old. Luckily, my aunt was there with me, who's older than me, obviously. I don't know why I needed to specify that. And she came over, and I couldn't see, obviously, because I'm stuck under the water. But in my head, she shoved them out of the way and pulled me up. But I'll never forget that. So the idea that this girl's uncle shoved her into the lake, that would be traumatizing enough by itself. But then that this boy tried to drag her under the water, you would never forget that. They say that people suppress memories, but I don't. I also have a good memory, so it's such a foreign concept to me. My memory's not as good as it used to be, but I also never found it to be that useful, honestly. I found myself in a lot of situations where I remembered shit that other people didn't, and it would almost lead to an argument. And so it was like, like, what's the fucking point? Like, when I was in high school, I worked at McDonald's as soon as I was old enough to get a job, clear up until after I graduated. And when you work at a McDonald's, it's frequented by teenagers often. So inevitably, on a bi-weekly basis, somebody that I went to school with would end up coming in or coming through the drive-through. And sporadically, one of them would be a classmate of mine, like specific class, English, history, math. And so I would never address it because at that point in my life, I had already been in too many situations where I went, hey, you're such and such from here. And they wouldn't remember. And it made me look stupid or made me feel stupid. Like, it's awkward to be like, hey, no, you were there. Remember this and this and that, and they just don't have any fucking idea what you're talking about. So I started not engaging in those situations, and I would, unless they started talking to me. So this fucking girl, of course I knew who she was. She was cute. She was one of the more popular girls. She was in my class. I never talked to her. And I don't remember her name now, but she was distinct because she was kind of petite and cute, but she had really wide hips and a booty like none other. So, like, it wasn't like just, not only was she your stereotypical kind of hot, popular girl, but she had a unique, novel shape to her. So I knew who she, like, as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, that's Lindsay, whatever the fuck her name is. But so she's in this car in the drive-thru, and she hollers out at me, hey, don't I know you? And I was like, okay, yeah, you do. Or, I think she said, don't I recognize you? And I said, yeah, we have history class together. And she goes, no, you were at such and such's party doing mushrooms. Which at that point in my life couldn't be further from who I was. Like, there was zero chance that she saw me at a party doing mushrooms back then. So I was like, no, it wasn't me. I don't do anything. At that point in my life, I smoked cigarettes. I had smoked weed. No, I hadn't even smoked weed ever in my life. I had been drunk like twice. So it led to this awkward, not argument, but basically I just had to give in and kind of placate her so that she would stop insisting that she knew me from this party. Just go, oh, yeah, whatever. I got on that with suppressed memories. So suppressed memories are a hard thing for me to digest, but because it's something I've never experienced. It's so far from my reality. But experts say it's happened, so I guess I have to go with them. Oh shit, we're finally in New York. My God. let's check the timestamp. An hour 25. It took an hour and 25 minutes to get a shot from in Times Square. There is no New York in this movie. There's 15 minutes of runtime left, and you know the credits are a part of that. So we're going to get 10 minutes of actual New York? God damn, I would have been mad. I knew what I was getting myself into before I ever saw it. But if I was all hopped up, getting hypey, ready to go to the theater and see Jason tear apart a big city, and this is what I got... Her ass actually looked good in those pants. Oh, she's wearing granny panties, though. Nobody notices this fucking guy. Perfectly normal. It's New York. It's what it is. It's all these cars driving by. Guy covered in slime, wearing coveralls and a hockey mask. Start a commotion. Get a cop's attention. Oh, well. Or just run away. Is Jason gonna pick up the ghetto blaster? Oh no, he broke it. He just shows him his face. Ugh. I've never even thought about putting a cigarette out in an egg yolk. You don't have a better receptacle for a cigarette butt than an egg yolk? Somebody thought of that. Like, somebody wrote that down. I was like, this is a good idea. We got to make sure we get this in the movie. He breaks through a lot of doors. Bet he's got an old man in the door selling business. That guy's fucking huge. Harder they fall. Again, broke the mirror. Jason is not a fan of mirrors. He knows he's ugly. That's why he used his face to scare away those kids. Odd that he wasn't interested in killing them, especially when they challenged him like that. But if he did, he's in the middle of Times Square. He would very quickly get converged upon by police. And we're already back out of New York. Wow. So we got like 3 minutes of stuff that actually felt like New York. And we're back to Vancouver alleyways now. This might actually be New York, but it doesn't matter if it is, like... People get excited about the concept of Jason Takes Manhattan because they want the feel of Jason in the big city. This could be anywhere. I just remembered that they're going to cover Jason in the healthy sewage, that anti-aging sewage. Fountain of youth. I just try to figure out, how did they arrive at the decision that if you cover him in sewage, he reverts back to a boy? Like, what quality does the sewage have to it that would make this happen? We're just wondering if you would buy some Girl Scout cookies, sir. What kind of weird shit is that? The whole sewer floods with toxic waste every day at midnight? So where's this tank of toxic waste that builds up throughout the day and then gets evacuated at midnight daily? Ooh. Office linebackered his ass. The way that heartthrob dude just slumped over like he was dead. Looks like a drunk hobo. Here's something you don't know about me, Jason. I know how to work flashlights.
Give me the lake, and you're not gonna give me now.
Wait a minute. This is supposed to be so long after he drowned, and she's pretty young. He wouldn't have been a boy chronologically then at all. Because you got the first one, and then the second one, he's grown already. Then the next few take place bam, 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 one after another. Then part 5, or part 6, whatever, is many years in the future from that because Tommy is grown. What the fuck? That was campy as hell. So then from part 6, where Tommy is fully grown, we go to part 7, which is a solid 10, 15 years after 6. So Jason's been an adult for 30 or 40 years. Unmistakably. There's no way that he was a little kid when she was a kid. I'd never picked that up before. I hate watching him walk around like this. My God. Don't those things lift up from the bottom? Isn't that how they're designed? Yeah, we have lights and electricity going through the sewer that floods every night. Makes sense. The lights don't get burned out. Now he's puking up water? What the fuck is... It's not toxic waste, it's used water from the local car wash. You know how many people would take a bath in that shit if it made them young again? This is supposed to be Jason's downfall, but it seems like he's been rejuvenated. He's got literally a new beginning. He can start all over as a boy. Spooky. Not. It's weird that they have water be his adversary so often, when it's also kind of his friend. It just healed all the damage. This is a hard bit of shit to swallow. He's perfectly normal. He's not deformed in any way. This worked out great for him. And the mask floats away. Sweet. Minskoff Theater. Okay.
Statue here is 22 stories tall.
Aw, how sweet. He saved her Statue of Liberty pennant. That gnarly ass gold. Gold's back in style. I'm not a fan. What are we looking at? Oh. Muffin! Multiple times in the franchise, we have a dog being rediscovered as alive as like almost the final scene. I love their dogs. I love my dog. What are those G-Man cars? What is this standard issue ass car we got parked over here? Oh my god, there was even less New York in that than I remember. It didn't feel like it was set in New York at all. That was kind of unbelievable. That somewhere along the line they didn't just decide to change that, like, change it from being Manhattan. Let's make it something else. Let's find an area that's more realistic where we can be more entrenched in the city while we're shooting. 'Cause that shit was whack. I love that huge pack of Camel cigarettes up there, though. That's not allowed anymore. You can't advertise cigarettes for some reason. Like, people don't know about them. Oh, man. Sorry for the sounds of silence there. I was just trying to absorb exactly what just happened and what I just saw. That was bad. I mean, the storyline wasn't particularly engaging at all, and they went for some novel kills and a little tad bit of nudity, but for the most part it just felt very much like another low budget horror movie with Jason in it. And the thing that probably would have carried the day with the hardcore fans would have been if Jason was more true to the other entries in the franchise. At least if we had the machete slashing and all that kind of shit, you would have satisfied that audience. But this right here, I don't know. They didn't really appease anybody, probably. And I suppose now that it's over, I can kind of see the idea that it's the Disney horror movie. It started off a little bit stronger with the kills than it ended up with. And if you were concerned about somebody's sensibilities and you had to show them a Friday for the 13th movie for some reason, I don't know what kind of theoretical, hypothetical situation we're in where it would be mandated that you have to show somebody a Friday the 13th movie. But if you did and they had delicate sensibilities, maybe you show them this one because it's not going to offend them too much. But then again, the first one's not that offensive. Unless, of course, you're on the whole exploitating women kick and all that. In which case, these women knew what they were signing up for when they decided to do the gig. It's not like it was a secret to them that they would be on here just because they have huge tits or whatever the case may be. And they were willing to accept it on that basis. And if they didn't, somebody else would. So, bitch to them. Anyway, I don't appreciate you guys listening to my commentary on Friday the 13th, Part 7, Jason Takes Manhattan. Go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. Until the next time, this is Devin signing off and saying, be easy.